If you're happy and you know it, and you're ready to show it. If you're happy and you know it's not perfect.
Hello and welcome to my little corner of love, light, and learning. Teacher Madeline here with VIPKID. Today's video is about note-taking. I will be discussing how I personally take notes during the lesson and a little bit about how I prepare for each class the night before. I will start by saying that if you don't know and you're new, you can absolutely type out your notes during the class. You don't have to write them out. There's no right or wrong way to doing this. I'm simply sharing what I do and what I found works best for me. So if it works for you, great. If not, then forget about it. Let's get into it. The night before, I prepare for class by writing the student's name and the lesson. So I know there are some teachers who write very detailed notes on each lesson and maybe even include exactly what props they're going to use. If that works for you, then you do you. But for me, I will be honest, I take the lazy route, or easy route rather. I have my props organized so that they're easy access. I can just grab them, and when I see the name of the lesson, for the most part, I know what the vocabulary is going to be, and I have a general idea of what props I'm going to use. If you're new, I promise you will get to the point that you know the lessons like the back of your hand. There is new material. I know that VIPKID just came out with a winter camp. There was a summer camp, and they're ever evolving. So I do sometimes have to review new material or kind of familiarize myself with it, but quick and easy. I don't put a whole lot of effort or thought into it. Most of the lessons are a similar layout, and you're doing them again and again, so you know what to expect and even what kind of obstacles you might face as far as the child's misunderstanding. So that covers number one, the name and the lesson. Number two, if it is a repeat student, I know their personality, and according to their interest or what the lesson content is, I will decide on a reward beforehand if possible. Can't always do that with a trial student, then I kind of wing it, but for the most part, I write the reward. Number three, this is the zinger. I find this one really helpful and that the parents really appreciate it. I always write down if I gave the student homework from the previous lesson and just a couple, one or two weaknesses of theirs. I write very small in the upper corner of margin area. Again, organize it however best works for you, but I don't want to take up a whole lot of space with it. So the reason this is so great is that in the beginning of class, when we have that greeting, I always take a couple seconds just to do a brief review of those problem areas from the previous class, or if I gave them homework, I better follow through with that. What I mean is that sometimes I will ask the parent, hey, please help so-and-so to prepare a response to what is the weather or what did you do today. So I will ask that, and then, for example, I had a young girl this morning, Cecilia. She's starting a whole new lesson on birthday cakes and birthday parties, celebration, blow out the candle. But she just completed her assessment for the lessons on America, so she won't be seeing that material for a while, but she's still having trouble to say ketchup and mustard. So I said, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Hello. What is that? Then we had an opportunity to briefly, 30 seconds, ketchup, mustard, and really reiterated and reinforced that material from before, and she had an additional chance to practice and to hear an American say these words. I think that parents really take note of that, and they appreciate, A, you remember their kid, and B, you're taking that extra effort to help them. And really, I mean, it only takes a couple of seconds and can even help me to kind of fill up some of that class time if need be. Number 4, the last thing I do the night before is take note from, and I'll find this in my previous comments, or maybe other teachers have given some suggestions on the student's learning style. What I mean by this is you have to personally tailor each lesson towards each student. So some students maybe really are so active and they need that extra TPR. So I have them stand up and we do motions for as much as possible. And some students really want to sing songs. Others maybe react better to use of puppets. Or, some kids are going to show up every day with their dino doll or their monkey puppet. So you make sure you remember those things. That's really key. Or some of the older kids, I find, they're kind of over the TPR. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. They don't care about the puppets. In that case, they really are more interested in building a relationship with you, and it's great to ask them more personal questions. So I write down their learning style to kind of jog my memory before class and be more prepared that way. To review, the night before, the name, the lesson, what reward I'm going to use, any of the weaknesses we should work on, and their learning style. Then, during class, pretty self-explanatory, I have their strengths and weaknesses. Split the page right down the center, and I can take notes during class. Now, you can obviously create your own shorthand, but I'll share with you what works for me. When there's a pronunciation problem, instead of writing out, well, Dylan has a difficult time saying glacier, I can simply write glacier in quotation marks, and then I know pronunciation problem. A lot of times, the student will really know the vocabulary very well, teacher, school, and in which case I'll just write vocab, and you can copy and paste the vocab from the drop-down menu. You don't need to write out each word. A lot of students have trouble saying that whole complete sentence. Then I just write compsent, and again, you can copy and paste the sentence structures from the lesson up above in the drop-down menu there. So I'll write down, very detailed, the things they're good at, the things that they need help with. And you don't have to put all of that in the feedback, but it helps me to be prepared for class next time, to really go back and look at everything, at all those notes. So that brings us to, what do I write after class? In those 5 minutes, I choose to write, if I didn't have a chance, what reward, did I finish all of the slides? Now, you should always be finishing all of the slides and going over all the material. However, this is a weakness of mine, something I'm working on, and I think it's helpful for me to go back and see, how am I improving? Am I finishing that material? And also, if I, God forbid, get a low Apple score, I know why. If I didn't finish, or what's going on. So which brings me to number 3. I always give myself a score on the 5 Apple scale so that I can compare with the parent feedback. I also make sure to write why I give myself that score. If I get a 5-star, boy, I really helped this kid understand, and I did a lot of TPR, whatever. If I get a low score, I say exactly why. For example, so-and-so didn't understand density, and I did a terrible job of explaining. I was unable to turn that light bulb on. So that after classes, after I unwind and take a step back, I can really give a lot of thought to how can I better be prepared to explain that next time. So that in the future when I encounter that, bing, I've been here before, I have a plan, I know how to help this student. And lastly, unique. I always, every class, make sure to write something that is unique or personal about this student. For example, do they like to play basketball? Or I had a girl today that told me she really likes Harry Potter books. So next class, by golly, I better have a Harry Potter reward prepared, which reminds me, if you guys have any ideas for how a good Harry Potter reward, let me know. I'm thinking maybe some kind of lightning bolt, or I don't know, but share your thoughts with me. And let's get those comments rolling. Let's get talking. Uh, that is everything to review. Name, lesson, the reward, their weaknesses, their learning style, during class, strengths and weaknesses, simple, concise, write it so that you understand, obviously, and afterwards, the reward, did I finish? And maybe you always finish the slides, but I suggest kind of evaluating yourself and taking note on what's your weakness and how did you do with that for each class. And then I rate myself and make sure to take note on something unique about that child. That summarizes note-taking. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions, not just to how to improve the video, but how to improve my teaching style, or what was helpful for you. What did you find helpful? What are you going to give a shot in your note-taking? So, or maybe you don't like note-taking. Let me know. That is everything. That is the end. Now for the bonus round. This is just additional me rambling, so if you're not interested, click away. But I am very excited because I just got a new HP printer, my very own personal printer for the first time ever. I'm really excited about it because it does make for, it's easier to create those reward systems and even easier to personalize them. So for example, I have a student who always brings her monkey to class. So, and this is a common reward, but I didn't have it. I printed out these bananas, and then her puppet eats the bananas, and yeah, yummy. Today, this is what I want to share with you. Cecilia had her class on birthdays, and one of the vocabulary words was cake. So I made these different kinds of cake, and we had fun discussing the different colors and blah blah. But not only that, she was able to learn cupcake, ice cream cake, cookie cake. We discussed that she likes berries, and so she's learning additional vocabulary. She thinks she's just having fun and getting a reward, but oh no, she's getting tricked into additional learning. So the parents are happy, she's happy, whatever. This worked really great. I even tried it on some of my older students, and I thought it might be too simple for them, but they loved it. So yeah, just thought I would throw that idea out there. More so, I'm just really excited about it and wanted to talk about this reward system here. So again, let me know what you think, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful VIPKID kind of day. Ta-ta for now.
If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, if you're happy and you know stomp your feet.